Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted, man. What the fuck?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 101 of the Topless Robot podcast. My name is Ryan.
I'm Tyler.
My name is Brooks.
I'm Dan.
Our anonymous informant.
And yes, this is Topless Robot 101. We expect you to take notes, and there will be a test next week. Yeah, that was a bad joke. I deserved that one. I deserved that one.
Yeah.
And we're at the gate.
So
yeah, I'm lowering the bar. That's what I'm doing. I lower the bar.
So
the rest of the episode will be funny.
Tyler and I were talking about this a little bit before the episode. Yesterday was the first DC FANDOME. Which
DC
is
FANDOME, DC FANDOME.
Weird online event. There's going to be a second one in September, I guess. And they revealed a few interesting things. They showed a completely useless trailer for James Gunn's upcoming Suicide Squad reboot. It was just a character introduction with still images, and they called it a trailer. But the behind the scenes gives me a lot more hope for it. It was like a minute and a half long. Showed John Cena as what's the character name? Peacekeeper or something like that, and told us the direction that he was given, which was just be a douchey Captain America. He's like, all right, I can do that.
I already kind of do that.
Wait, okay, what you're saying is be me. All right, got it.
And it being a James Gunn film, the unsurprising inclusion of Michael Rooker and Sean Gunn.
What?
Yeah.
We also got Nathan Fillion
in it. So, I mean,
Idris
honestly,
Elba.
yeah. I'm hopeful for it. If anyone can make it work, James Gunn definitely can, because no one knew or gave a shit about who Guardians of the Galaxy were until he made that movie.
I didn't.
And now, everyone knows who Star-Lord is. Like, so I think
he's that guy with the light sword and the vacuum cleaner in space, or
yes. Many of the characters. So I think, if I remember correctly from watching that garbage little trailer, the only character that's in James Gunn's Suicide Squad that was also in the original Suicide Squad is Harley Quinn. And the rest of them are all weird fucking characters. There's the shark dude. There's Polka Dot, whatever the fuck that dude is. There's Deadshot is not in it. It's a different character who looks like Deadshot.
Viola Davis is back as Amanda Waller. Jai Courtney's back as Captain Boomerang.
Was Captain Boomerang in the original one? I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
he's a flashback.
That movie is fully forgettable.
Very much so. Oh, I forgot Peter Capaldi's going to be in this one.
Yes.
Love that. He's the thinker. Whatever that.
So, very few characters in common between the two. James Gunn saying that it's his most ambitious title that he's ever worked on. Hopeful, if a little concerned, because James Gunn has been the golden child to this point. I feel like he's got tremendous writing chops, tremendous directing chops. But, now that he's seen all this mainstream success, if he's saying this is the biggest thing and most ambitious thing that he's worked on, might mean he's taken a lot of risks that may not pay off.
And also, a lot of what has made... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Well, fine. Every director needs to have a worst film, this could be it.
And one of the big things that has been wrong with DC movies is biting off more than they can chew with with every movie that they've ever done. Okay, so we can't do. We're not going to do the single origin story thing. Instead, we're just going to throw everything into all of the movies, and hopefully something sticks. Still looks fun though.
Yeah, it looks fun. In the same vein, we saw a trailer for Rocksteady's Suicide Squad game, which looks fucking great.
The little cinematic trailer was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Suicide Squad comedy, dark comedy.
And what we could glean from that is it seems that the big bad, aside from the Justice League, is Brainiac. And because the name of the game is Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Kills Superman.
No, it's Kills the Justice League is the name of the title. It is the name of the game itself. They show Superman, but it says Kills the Justice League as the name of the game. So what I...
You're not going to shoot Aquaman.
Yeah. What I think... this is going to be is Brainiac has taken over the Justice League, and that's the only reason that Suicide Squad has been called in and kind of been held hostage as the last resort to fight off Brainiac.
And they'll respond, "Thank you for saving me," and then disappear.
I was reading about it a little bit, and apparently it is going to take place in the Arkham game Arkham Asylum City, all those games timeline.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be building on the universe. It's built the Arkhamverse, as they are saying. So
Rocksteady is going to continue development and building that universe that they created. Then that's cool.
So I thought that was pretty sweet. That'll be interesting having a different side of that from just Batman.
Yeah.
And especially, it's also kind of funny considering the other Gotham Knights is not in the universe.
Yeah. And I am way more stoked for Gotham Knights. I am so stoked.
Gotham Knights looks really interesting, and it looks like they learned just enough from what Rocksteady managed to do with Arkham, because it's not being developed by Rocksteady. Gotham Knights is being developed by WB Games Montreal, and the gameplay that they showed off 13 minutes of gameplay, and it looks similar enough, but with more RPG elements, with things like status effects and stuff like that. They showed a fight with Mr. Freeze where Robin uses his hacked link to the Justice League space base and drops fire on Mr. Freeze, and it inflicts critical damage on him. So you could tell like the damage counter was showing up red, and then he got a little status effect up by his health bar that showed fire. So it seems like they're going to do a lot more or incorporate a lot more RPG elements into this.
Yeah, but the flow of the combat still looks pretty similar, just like at a glance to the Arkham series, which I think is a good thing because I thought that was really good combat.
They really set the standard for that.
Yeah, it's super awesome. And of course, I'm just stoked because it looks like the Court of Owls is huge role, and
that's
one
my
of the villainous
favorite
organizations that I like a lot.
Yeah, and
I'm really good.
Yeah, with Batman not in a Batman game, they set the stage real quick. Very, at the beginning of it, Batman's dead. And though, I mean, come on, he's probably not actually dead. And so your character choices are Robin, or Batgirl.
I think Robin.
I like all of those different Robins are very distinct
They are,
characters.
yes. It's Red Hood, Nightwing, Robin, and Batgirl. Interestingly, it is post-Oracle Batgirl, so it's not like... because they showed her in her clock tower base standing next to her wheelchair.
Yeah, it's not wheelchair Batgirl, which would be kind of crazy if it was.
Right.
Well,
it's just a tank.
I attached rockets to my wheelchair and I fly through the enemies.
it's a bat chair.
I found it interesting because I definitely don't keep up on the Batman comics or comics in general. I kind of pay attention to larger arcs and just to get a gist of where they're taking the property and if it could lead to anything interesting down the line. And I didn't know that Batgirl ever went back to Batgirl after being Oracle.
I didn't either.
So considering they start with the premise of Batman is dead, and then they show Batgirl, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But then they show the wheelchair in that cutscene, and I was like, okay, cool, right on. So it's like they're acknowledging that she was Oracle, and she found some magical way to unparalyze herself. And
robot legs, Lazarus pit.
Right.
I mean, it's one of the least difficult things to accomplish because we're already dealing with immortal assassins in the same game right now.
Yes.
So
Very true.
A lot of Deus Machinas that can bring her back, and we can just kind of go, okay.
Oh well, I mean, that's how they're going to bring Batman back. You're either going to find out that he's been brainwashed and working for the Court of Owls, or you're going to have to get his corpse to the magic clock device.
Yeah.
Or he's not dead. He
throw it in the pit.
Look like he's dead because the Court of Owls is after him, and he's then.
that was my first inference the moment I saw that the Court of Owls was involved. I was like, he could have faked his death. I think it'd be cooler if he was actually dead. I hope he actually is for the purpose of this game. But
I want them to have his skull in the Batman mask.
Right.
Somewhere.
At your home base of operations, whenever you play the characters, you just go in and cry next to Batman's skull.
Alas, poor Bruce Wayne, I knew thee well.
Of course, depending on what character you are, you'd probably look at it and go, fuck that guy, he's dead.
Yeah, right?
You start sobbing uncontrollably, and then you can't move your character for at least 10 minutes.
No, you have to press F.
You have to press F, yeah. I am kind of stoked for the fact that this is going to be a co-op game. So, and it looks like pretty seamless drop in and out, because in the gameplay thing in the top right corner, it just said Robin has joined the session, while the main player is running around as Batgirl. So that'll be really interesting for that style of game to have that, co-op multiplayer element to it.
I was wondering as I was watching it, is it going to be a thing? Because they said when they're doing the gameplay that this is somewhere farther down the line in Batgirl's character arc. So I was wondering, is it going to be different levels? You're being a different character, or you can go through the whole game as just Robin or just Nightwing, or how that's going to work.
I thought they said that you could play through the whole game as any character.
That's what I'm assuming, especially with the way the co-op mechanics work, right? You would probably
fucking game.
It's cool though. I mean, the co-op mechanic is probably really easy to incorporate, from a logical standpoint, right? No matter where you are in the city, any of these other characters could just drop in from the skyline or kick down a door,
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprise, it's 3 of the same Robin.
I imagine you won't be able to do that. I have a feeling they're going to make you at least pick a different character than the person whose session you're joining.
Right. And from what I understand, it is only 2-player co-op.
So it won't be like Ultimate Marvel.
You're not going to be able to have a full team, of Robin, and Batgirl, or
and if the combat system functions like I assume it does, then having more than 2 characters would be a nightmare.
Yeah, that would be a bit rough. But they were also talking about scaling up the enemies depending on where you are, scaling up or scaling down the enemies depending on where you are. So I think, and Borderlands did something similar where when you were playing through co-op, the enemies were more, difficult. They kind of beefed up the enemies because you've got 2 people facing it. I don't see why they couldn't take the same idea and scale it up to match, 4 people to make it.
On-screen entities is a huge problem with something like that. It looks like the combat system probably isn't going to be, unless it's a boss fight, you all ganging up on one person.
Sure.
So you would have to increase the number of enemies to actually make it challenging for 4 people, in addition to making them stronger. and that'd probably just wind up being obnoxious, and some hardware probably can't run it if they did that.
It's a good point. We are also going into a new generation, though, which is looking to remove a lot of bottlenecks for things like that. And as I understand, it is releasing. It's not going to be a current gen game.
I thought it said that was going to be PS4, PS5.
I thought maybe I was looking at the Suicide Squad thing, but or thinking about the Suicide Squad one. But I thought at the bottom the only logos I saw were Series X and PS5 and PC.
I know at least one of them said that it was going to be PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and I thought it was Gotham Knights, but I could be wrong.
I see that regardless of it being the new consoles being really difficult to optimize and even more difficult to balance.
Yeah, probably.
Balancing for 4 players would make the game probably suck.
Everyone, your own little super team.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it'd be a lot on screen regardless, even if they were able to optimize that, like having 4 of you going all over the place, going nuts, like... If they add a whole bunch of new extra guys, you make them harder. Like, what do you? Like, it'd be kind of interesting. It'd be weird.
If they could pull it off, I think it would be really cool.
If you play,
but we may be far away from that.
And also another thing to consider is if it is going to be, if you're doing multiplayer, it's probably going to be same screen, right? I don't think it's going to be split.
I mean, same console. Multiplayer would be same screen, but I don't know if they're doing couch co-op. From what they showed, Robin is going all sorts of everywhere else, while Batgirl is doing her thing, and we're mainly following Batgirl. But you can see Robin just run in and just take off to some other weird corner doing his own thing, and then all of a sudden he pops into combat right next to you because he purportedly, or seemingly worked his way to that point.
Yeah, we'll see. There's not enough information yet, but yep. I'm super stoked. I think it's going to be fun regardless.
Yeah, I'm very excited for what it's going to be. Basically, I just hope that they learned all the necessary lessons from what Rocksteady did with their properties, in the past, and they don't make unnecessary modifications that ruin that formula.
I agree. I also I hope it's changed enough that it's not explicitly derivative. I want it to be its own game, clearly.
Yep. Other things that came out of DC FANDOME was
trailer.
Yes, we saw an actual trailer for Matt Reeves' The Batman, and it looks pretty fucking good.
I haven't watched it yet. I was going to do that later today.
Looks very decent. I think Robert Pattinson is going to be a great Batman. Robert Pattinson, especially recently, has shown us what kind of an actor he can really be. With stuff like The Lighthouse. I
like that he's breaking the shackles of Twilight.
Yeah, he's done very well at doing that.
I'm glad it was not a career killer or his one note thing,
right?
Yeah.
He's been good.
No, I think he's going to play a good Bruce Wayne too.
Yeah, I think so as well. And clearly it's a different era Batman. It's early on, it seems.
I read that it's year 2. It's not quite year 1.
As long as we don't get another fucking origin story. I'm sick of seeing that origin story.
Same. I'm pretty much tired of any origin story that has been made into a movie already. I don't need to see it ever again.
Yep.
I don't need to see a new origin story. I want all of these other characters that existed in the universe. If they're going to get an origin story, I'd rather do that than another remake. Please.
I don't want to. I don't need to see Uncle Ben die again. I don't need to hear "with great power comes great responsibility" again. I don't need to see the Waynes die in an alley again. I don't. None of this is. I don't need that anymore.
Everyone knows.
It's established.
Literally everybody knows how Batman becomes Batman.
Yeah, it literally specifically the Batman thing has lost its impact on me. And I remember the moment I realized I didn't give a shit anymore. And it was during one of the Arkham games where you can go into the alley where there's the chalk lines of your parents and you can stand there and like Batman will cry pretty much. It does a slow pan around Batman and it just plays really sad music while he looks at the chalk lines. And I just started laughing. I was like, I'm so done with this. We know that's just central to the character. It's what defines it. I don't fucking care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, haha, Batman's parents are dead. Okay, let's move on with the Batman stuff, please.
Yep. We don't need to spend time on that anymore.
Because then it takes forever to get to bad guys that are actually worth it.
Correct.
Instead of like fighting like, oh, well, I have to fight a crime boss first.
I have to fight Penguin again.
Well,
Right.
funny you should say that. Penguin is in the Batman.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah. Colin Farrell looking like fat Val Kilmer.
It's kind of
That's
weird.
not Danny DeVito.
And then Carmine Falcone is in it as well. He's I'm totally blanking on his name. What is his name? Internet, tell me. Oh,
I also do firmly believe that, like,
John Turturro.
Oh, cool.
not that the Penguin is necessarily a super interesting or bad villain, but the Danny DeVito portrayal definitely ruined the character forever for me.
You're just
Yeah.
gonna see him. You're gonna be watching the movie with a picture of of Danny DeVito as a Cobblepot and just like kind of crying, just one tear.
Even when you fight him in the Arkham games, again, the whole time it was like you were fighting the Penguin. I was just like, man, all I can see is Danny DeVito, and I'm done with it. Just get it out of my head.
But you got to admit, Nolan North did a great job with that voice.
Yes, of course. It's Nolan fucking North, dude.
Yeah, but for once, it doesn't sound like Nolan fucking North. I think, what was it, one of the Mafia games where Nolan North plays like half of the NPCs that you're walking around, so it's basically you just hear Nolan North's voice everywhere?
Yeah. And then in Saints Row 4, one of the voice options is just Nolan North, and he refers to himself as Nolan, like even if no matter what your character is. Like one of his lines is literally just, "That's how Nolan rolls."
I would expect nothing less from Saints Row.
Yeah.
By the way, really quick, I have a question
With
because
President Keith David.
Peter Sarsgaard is in the Batman. Is it just a rule that a Sarsgaard family member has to be in every movie forever now?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like every movie, it's like, oh, there's a Sarsgaard. It doesn't matter what movie.
I'm okay with it.
There's like, they're multiplying. There's 10 of them now that are in
Because
movies.
wasn't Pennywise the Clown one of them?
Yep.
And he
Bill Skarsgård.
was great.
And then, yeah, just everyone's in every movie, and it's like, okay. I like it though; they're all fantastic. They are. Every single one of the brothers is great.
Yeah, it's like
And
they've done better than the Baldwins. There's not just like one that is doing well, and then everyone else is like a knockoff.
I was gonna say, like the Baldwin bar is very low. Like it's easier to do better than the Baldwins.
Fine, doing better than the Culkins.
I mean, yeah, it's also
Because there's
fairly low
Macaulay
bar.
and Kieran. No, because Macaulay and Kieran. Well, okay, so we haven't seen Macaulay Culkin in a movie in a long time, but he was a great child actor. And Kieran Culkin is actually a very good actor, like an extremely good actor.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's also not in a lot of things though.
He's been in a few decent things that especially like really showed off what he's capable of as a dramatic actor.
This is the first I've ever heard of Macaulay Culkin having a brother. So I'm looking up what he's been in to see if I even know who he is.
He's in Scott Pilgrim. He's the
gay roommate in Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim,
Yeah.
the movie that I saw. Yeah.
A lot of the things that he's been in are kind of art housey. I can't remember what the one was, but he was in a movie where he helps plan an attack on a woman with severe agoraphobia, and is the meal delivery person for this woman, and she ends up taking out every one of these dudes who comes in to kill her. And it's a great movie. I can't remember what it's called. I think
is it Home Alone 4? I'll teach you not to leave me at home.
So, yeah, I've never seen anything that he's been in. So I definitely did not know he existed, although I'm very curious looking at his filmography. For 2 episodes, he was in a show called The Magical Legend of the Leprechauns as character Barney O'Grady.
Oh boy.
That sounds like it's going to be very tasteful and culturally appropriate.
Considering his name is Kieran Culkin, it's not appropriation.
Yeah, but the portrayal, like whatever that show is, it sounds like it's terrible. I don't know if the character existed for 2 episodes or if the show existed for 2 episodes.
Why were we talking about that?
We're talking about the brothers, the Sarsgaard.
Oh yes. Being successful. So other brothers, Hemsworths.
Hemsworths have done well.
Yes.
The Stallones.
Yeah, the clones. They have done very well. It's true. But I still think
the Smollets.
I didn't actually know that there was more than one Smollett.
Well, the sister is currently doing significantly better, considering she's in a starring role in Lovecraft Country.
Oh yeah.
Who else?
Mary Kate Lovecraft Country segue.
Good opportunity to talk about the series which debuted last Sunday. It's fucking awesome.
It is fantastic.
And once again, HBO does a series that educates people about horrible parts of Black history. We had with The Watchmen, the attack on Black Wall Street, which no one fucking knew about. I didn't know about. And it made me look into it and learn about it. And it was fucking horrifying. It's like the only time that bombs have been dropped on U.S. soil, and it was by fucking racist rednecks.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yeah, right.
I'm shocked.
And so apparently Jasmine joined the Lovecraft Country subreddit so she can follow along and stuff like that. And there are people who are just now learning about the existence of sundown towns.
I actually did not know about that until I think we talked about it on a podcast in the last couple weeks. I think. Or something. I don't remember. I had not heard about that until very recently, and I did not know.
Yeah. It's a really disgusting part of U.S. history.
Most of U.S. history is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. So I didn't know that this series is based on a book. It's not just like a Lovecraft, mashup or anything like that. It seems like it may be kind of that thing, but it's based on something that was intentionally fully, written as a novel to be that thing. It does a great job in kind of taking back a very valuable and influential mythos from a horrible racist.
I love, so far, one of the things I've really loved about this show is like the first half of the episode is all about the horrors of racism. And honestly, the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, I was going to say most of that episode was just about real world.
But it's like that comparison where it's like, you get how awful racism is, and then you get the monsters, and it's like, I was equally scared throughout the entire, like you bring monsters into it, and I'm just obviously, oh fuck. But at the beginning, I'm just like, what the fuck? And just like
they
cringing and just sad.
A really great job of, it's a racial thriller. in the beginning of the or through a majority of that episode. I assume neither you, Brooks, nor Dan have watched Lovecraft Country.
I haven't. I just haven't had an opportunity to like sit down and watch it yet.
Okay.
Because I can't.
And I know Dan hasn't.
I need not answer.
Dan, you should watch something that's new just to throw us off the set. Like
one of these days, like I know Dan didn't watch it, and I'll go, motherfucker, what did you just? And I'll pull off my flannel and just have a shirt from a new show on it.
Oh my god! It's the next generation shirt.
So the context of the or the premise of the show is Atticus is the main character. He he's a war veteran. He's traveling home to find his missing father, and his uncle writes for a guide, and the guy basically has him on the road all the time, where he basically catalogs the places in the United States that are safe for Black people to visit. And so that means he's risking his life a lot of the time to go into small town fucking America and find out if he gets attacked or not. And there are some, like, it is shot like a thriller throughout. And for good reason, because there are some truly, truly terrifying moments, and they have nothing to do with the supernatural. And they are entirely rooted on the reality of our country. And it's horrifying. But basically, in order to, Atticus got a letter from his father saying, go to Arkham, Massachusetts. And his uncle corrects him in looking at the letter. It says it's actually Ardham, Massachusetts, which he says that's in Lovecraft Country. And so he decides his uncle needs to catalog that area anyway, so they kind of hit the road. And there's more to it than just that, but that's the basic premise. And it's so far, I mean, that first episode has me hooked. It's not often that a first episode is, gets its fucking good claws in you. And I need to see more. I need to know where this is going. And I am very excited for the coming weeks.
It scared the poop out of me. I sat there and watched it before the fucking podcast today, and I'm just sitting in my fucking living room going, ah! Oh shit!
To be fair, though, I mean, a sudden breeze, well, it can also scare the poop out of you.
Also, birds.
Yeah, it's a bird flying out of the tree. His backyard could also scare him.
When Ryan started the call for the podcast, I didn't know my volume was turned all the way up, and he talked, and I jumped out of my seat.
It made me so happy.
I was not expecting to be able to hear him. Hey, if nothing else, I'm consistent.
Yep. Consistently a disappointment.
To anyone who thinks that this is all a fucking act, it's definitely not.
No. Yeah.
I don't think anyone thinks it's an act. We all know exactly how scared you are. At every moment
out there. Like, really, the way that you get scared in some of the VR videos, there's no way you were faking it. There's just no way.
Very genuine.
The fear is evident.
So, new episode of Lovecraft Country tonight. I'm excited to see where it's going. And let's see, what else came out of FANDOME? There was a new...
With the Batman that was interesting. Mm-hmm. They ordered a new TV series that's going to be an HBO Max original. It's untitled right now, but it's going to be based on Gotham PD, and it's going to take place in the new Batman movie universe. So and it's apparently going to be year one. Like it's not going to be like the DC or the CW Gotham, or not CW. What was that?
I think that was Fox.
Fox, yeah.
I'm pretty sure
it's not going to be
Fox.
like that one. It's not going to be based on that at all. It's going to be a new thing. It's going to be connected to this new Batman movie, and it's going to be written. It's going to be produced by what's the director for the new Batman movie? Reeves.
Matt Reeves. Yeah.
Matt Reeves. Yeah. It's going to be produced by Matt Reeves and written by the writer of Empire.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And directed.
Super dramatic.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Like, I was reading some stuff about it. Like, there might be there's going to be crossover between the movie and.
I can't wait to watch Gotham City Bootlickers. It'll be a great show.
I mean,
so that'll be interesting to see like John Turturro be like Falco or Carmine Falcone.
Considering
in, like, a TV series.
Like the only member of Gotham PD who's ever, been raised on a pedestal is fucking, Commissioner Gordon.
And I fucking love Commissioner Gordon.
And the rest of the police department are frequently and often and regularly always regarded as fucking sleazy and terrible at their jobs. And Bullock, Christ.
Yeah. We don't gotta pretend that's who it is.
I feel like if you guys ever read it or watched the Spawn animated series or read the comics, it's let's see, there's Twitch and the big guy who I can't remember. I feel like he was modeled after Bullock from Batman the Animated Series, because I just realized in my head that I could picture them side by side.
Speaking of comic books for a second, I found I was hanging out on YouTube kind of before bed, just kind of kicking around trying to find something to watch before I went to sleep, and I found. I've never actually dived into any like comic book proper nerds on YouTube talking about like comic book stuff, and holy shit, it is an embarrassment to watch. It's great. It's fantastic. It's just like these like really gross nerds that are just like kind of gravitating around like drama between comic book artists in the 90s.
Oh God.
Like,
anyone,
like there's an episode on
anyone who focuses on the drama of the artist is a piece of garbage. Friend of Topless Robot, Ashley Witter, Marvel cover artist. She did our logo. She's an incredible artist. She sometimes, posts about some weird, the next drama about X, Y, or Z, with regard to, comic book artists, and they're in a lot of cases really shitty hot takes, and all of that is just really bad. No one ever needs to hear or see any of that shit. Yeah, it's so fucking garbage. It's so garbage.
Yeah, it's like not even entertaining. Like, you know what I mean? Like reality TV show centers around stuff like that, but usually it's like from people that we generally laugh at. And then it's like, Rob Liefeld's a weird artist, but I really don't care why he had beef with somebody else.
But watching Stan Lee over the shoulder of Rob Liefeld creating some muscle-bound fuck with not Seth MacFarlane.
It might have been Seth MacFarlane.
No, it was Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane there. Is like watching Stan Lee criticize Rob Liefeld while he's drawing a character it gives me life. It is the funniest shit ever.
That's fantastic.
I like that Levi's commercial with Rob Liefeld. Have you seen that? Before?
No.
Back in the day? Yeah, it was really bad.
God.
I mean, I like, how weird is that though? Like, at one point we had like a comic book artist advertising like name brand jeans.
That is really weird.
That maybe knows who he is.
Golden age of comics, right?
I think
Silver.
I'm not as familiar with everything that Rob Liefeld has created, but I will say I thank him for Deadpool. That's about all I have to say.
I think him for Cable.
Oh, that's right. He created Cable.
I'm really bad at knowing who was.
I got to talk to him like 10 years ago. It was weird. I just didn't know what a weird guy he was until way afterwards.
Oh God! Whatever you do, don't follow him on Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've said it before. I got into comic books because of movies. So I've read some comics, but most of them are the avant-garde ones like Sandman and the more famous stories from Batman, like Year One and whatnot. But
another thing that came out of DC FANDOME. Since we've been talking about HBO Max as well, and we're talking about Twitter embarrassments, is the Snyder cut of Justice League.
I knew this was coming.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't either. I don't. Chris Snyder's not a good director. Did I say Chris?
Yes.
Zack Snyder. Well,
God, Chris. Way to go,
Hanover.
Chris.
Dan Snyder.
My bad.
Jacob Snyder.
Also, Zack Snyder recently, God, what was... I need to find the tweet. There we go. So, Scott Mendelson, who is a film critic for Forbes, which, Forbes does fine. They're not known necessarily for their entertainment coverage, but they do fine. And he posts, so that trailer for the Snyder Cut of Justice League looks like the same movie? Lots of deleted scenes from the marketing campaign, but otherwise it looks like alternate takes of existing scenes. Zack Snyder quote retweets that and says, hold on, I have to get the appropriate voice on.
Actually,
you bring the robot voice on?
You said you enjoyed the theatrical cut of Justice League like you enjoy your Saturday morning cartoons. Well, this is made for grown-ups, so you're not in the demographic. Also, cool of you to comment on a leaked teaser.
Neat. Yeah. I have a shocking bit of news, but I don't care about the Snyder Cut.
Really?
I don't care either. It's going to be released in
movie that comes, in that like honey mustard stuff. The Snyders of Hanover pretzels come in. That's it.
It's going to be released in 4 1-hour segments weekly on HBO Max.
Seriously? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
God,
it's fucking dumb. I just don't get the hard-on that a lot of people get for Zack Snyder, because what has he made that's been good? Watchmen was serviceable, and he fucked up. Man of Steel is garbage. 300's good, but that was pretty much it. Has he just been coasting on 300?
Yeah, pretty much.
Never existed. I feel like our timeline would have been better.
Didn't he do Sucker Punch?
He did Sucker Punch, which is...
Sucker Punch wasn't a great movie, but a lot of people liked it.
It's okay.
Because it's got sad, cool music and women in cool anime costumes.
But that's pretty much it. He made Justice League.
Yeah, directed by Zack Snyder.
Oh, I finally got around to seeing Elita Battle Angel, by the way.
I loved it. I really fucking loved it.
Awesome. It's like it was just like the first book, because I've that's the only one I've read. It was free on my Kindle for, I think, something I was subscribed to, and I checked it out and I thought that was pretty cool, and it was pretty much spot on. It was really good.
Oh, duh! The one thing that Zack Snyder did that I love him for, and basically created his career, was the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Oh yeah. I forgot that he did that. I thought it was okay.
I absolutely loved it. He did a great job with it. Fucking kudos. That was 16 years ago.
He's 2.5 out of
yeah, right.
other 12 movies that he's made. I mean, Batman vs Superman was a fucking garbage movie. Man of Steel, garbage movie.
Yeah.
That should have been better if he knew how to fucking direct a movie. Oh, I hate him. He's not good. And everyone who loves him, I don't understand. I don't.
And I mean, it sounds like on that same topic, the nerd sphere is falling out of love with why can't I think of his name? The dude who actually directed Justice League. Why? It's always there. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Joss Whedon. Everyone in the nerdosphere should be falling out of love with Joss Whedon because his treatment of the crew and cast on the set of Justice League is actually under investigation right now because apparently he mistreated people so much.
Oh no, that's not good.
I mean, that's not good that he did that, but it's rad that he's under investigation.
Yeah.
No one is above the law. Yeah. Except for Dredd, who is the law.
But not Sylvester Stallone.
No, Carl Urban.
Carl Urban. So enough fucking DC fandom. We've definitely talked plenty about all that garbage.
Yes. Well, parting cut. Wonder Woman 1984 looks cool. Anyway, continue.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So, I have to walk back some criticism that I gave unjustly. Justly given the information that we had at the time.
Unjustly.
On Battletoads. Remember they showed it when we did our E3 coverage last year, and I just shit all over it. I think we all did.
I don't know if I did or not. I can't remember. I probably just laughed because Battletoads is such a fucking meme to me.
Yeah,
I think I joined in on the fun, but
like the art style looked fucking, like it just didn't look good. What they showed off last year didn't look good to me. Well, it's out now and it's on Game Pass, so I fortunately didn't have to pay for it. That's a great fucking game. Like, it's a solid beat 'em up. It's funny writing, self-referential. So the game starts out and you're just kind of thrust into this, like, hey, you're the heroes. Like, there's no real motivation or anything. And when you beat the boss, they're like, hey, look, it's the celebration. Hey, everyone's celebrating us heroes. And, one of them starts chanting, we are gods, because we forgot we could fly and they're flying off, whatever. And then it actually turns out that they have been locked in a simulation bunker for 26 years. And they just got discovered and that's, you were in the simulation bunker, and now they have to get jobs.
That's
so it's good. It's very good, and especially the gameplay. There's one thing that for me, the beat 'em ups like Double Dragon and Streets of Rage and Final Fight and shit like that, as fun as they were back then, they lacked a lot of variation. And especially in attacks and attack combinations. Some of those old games did it better than others. But really, you were extremely limited in how you could attack and how you could chain those attacks and things like that. And enemy variety was obviously limited as well. In this, you definitely see a little bit of limitation in enemy variety, as you do with the genre in general. But I feel like it's a lot easier and a lot more satisfying to attack and chain these combos together. And you can, if you're playing, single player, you can tag into any other toad at any time. And once one toad falls, you become another one. And they really seem to have done a great job with it. So
I actually kind of like the art style that they took. I'm kind of having a little trailer on it. It's kind of cartoony and referential of like early, like those past beat 'em up kind of cartoon beat 'em ups. I like it.
Playing it in and having it in motion versus like what we saw at E3 last year feels very different. I think, especially considering the writing style and everything like that, it fits. It works very well for it, and it's very smooth.
Just like
suave.
That was a Topless Robot retraction.
Yeah. Another game that we saw at E3 last year has come out called Spiritfarer. It's from the guys who did Sundered, and I can't remember what the other one was, but they're known for great hand-drawn graphics. And Spiritfarer is no exception to that, but it's something that if you're looking for a relaxing experience, it's that.
The other game was Jotun, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Jotun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one where it's all clearly beautifully and meticulously hand-drawn. The animations are gorgeous. And Jotun and Sundered are both incredible games. I would say that this game is incredible as well, but for different reasons. If you're looking for something that's like Jotun and like Sundered, it's not it. It is a management system, like a space management and mood management thing, where you're on the seas. Basically, you take the job of Karan, the boatsman to the underworld. And
you're a ferryman.
Yeah.
Not the Karen that's asking for
not that Karen, no.
He's actually asking for Hades, the manager of the underworld.
And the animation is gorgeous. The designs and everything, absolutely beautiful. You can hug every character, and it improves their mood. You can pet your cat. It is a very different game, but and I don't think there's a way to die.
It's the type of game you play if you want something to tug at your heartstrings a little bit. That's what it's there for.
And it's a good, relaxing, well-written, gorgeous game. So I recommend it, but don't expect anything like what they've done in the past, unless you're looking for those beautiful fucking visuals.
See, I am I'm not a fan of those type of games. I probably will skip it.
Did we talk about Goose Game 2-player last week?
Oh no, we did not, because that got announced this week. They're adding 2-player to Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, we need to do a Topless Robot thing with that.
Also,
we have to.
Something that I learned I was fired up my Switch and I was scrolling through my games. Heave-Ho has versus mode now.
Oh, we need to do something with that too. Oh man.
Heave-Ho.
Okay, but how does it work? Because
I have no idea. I just saw the icon said versus mode, and I was like, "Ooh."
As far as I'm concerned, Heave-Ho was kind of already a versus mode game.
Yeah. Oh, those were good times. And the full times.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima 2-player too. That was announced this week as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima, is it more than 2 players, or is it just 2 players? I thought it was
I think it's like a party thing. You go fight demons and shit.
Yeah,
There hasn't been any stuff like that in the game that I've encountered, so I assume that that's just going to be kind of multiplayer exclusive content. Teaming up and fighting bad guys. Basically, it's just the backstory of my D&D character.
That sounds rad.
It's coming out for free too, which is cool. Yeah, and you play it in groups of 2 to 4 players.
Cool. Very cool.
If you like playing samurai who kill demons, think about playing Neo.
I'm beginning to like my life, Dan. So
That game's fucking sweet. I don't give a shit. I'm still waiting for November. I think November is when the PC comes out for Neo 2, baby. I've been waiting.
So we also saw first gameplay from a Chinese indie game.
I saw that.
That is a Souls-like, and it looks fucking gorgeous. And it is yet another retelling of Journey to the West. You play as the Monkey King. Yeah. Wukong is the name of the game. And good Lord. I mean, honestly, they released 13 minutes of footage, I think, something like that. And it is Black Myth Wukong. Yeah. It looks amazing. And
it does look really cool.
They said that they are nowhere near complete, and they're going to spend all their time getting it up to standard, like working on it to make the rest of the game as good as what they've shown off so far.
That's good, because my immediate concern every time I see another Souls-like, especially if it looks pretty, is it going to play like shit? Because that's what I'm always worried about.
Yeah.
A game can be as pretty as it wants, but if it's an action game whose mechanics are more important than its appearance, then, you better get those right.
I mean, judging by the gameplay footage that they released, it looks like the fighting is super satisfying.
I would hope so. I mean, but that's God. But there was a Souls-like game that came out a long time ago that a lot of people I know loved, and it seemed to get great reviews, but it sucked. I can't remember. Nah, it's escaping me. I don't think I got it.
Wukong looks super, super rad, and I hope that it is. And I hope they take their fucking time on it. Yeah, it's apparently what the headlines that I've been seeing said it's China's first AAA title.
Yeah, and apparently the developers were like kind of taken aback by the massive popularity of the trailer, and they're like, just so you know, this isn't done. Like, this isn't even the best part. There's a whole bunch of shit wrong with the trailer. Like, we're gonna disappear forever now and finish this game.
Yeah,
so
right.
We're probably not gonna see anything else on this game for the near future.
Yeah,
that's kind of like Ghost of Tsushima, because like I think like 2 E3s ago they brought that up, and
yes, 3 E3 is yes, yeah. 3 E3s ago. It was before we rebooted Topless Robot, and because it was the first podcast that Tyler and I ever recorded. Was for that E3 because Sony did the really fucking awkward, ridiculous nonsense of changing venues for each thing, like doing the Last of Us 2 thing with the music and then making everyone clear out and go to the next place.
So, and like the E3 like commentators weren't even sure when things were going to happen because it wasn't really well organized. So they're like out there like trying to talk about the new stuff, and then they're like, "Oh no, we have to go back in for another thing."
And then they had the white dude playing the like flute or whatever it was.
That's right. I remember that. I remember watching that.
Japanese flute.
Which we found out later was like the #1 dude of that type of instrument in the world. Which
there was no context given in the moment. Like everyone's just like, who the fuck is this guy and why am I listening to him play an ethnic instrument, like an instrument that has its roots, in that is a Japanese instrument? What the fuck is going on?
See, I didn't give a shit. If you can slay on the instrument, you can slay on the instrument. That's it.
No,
dude.
for sure. But if you're selling a game that is rooted in this, Japanese history and era, and then you put a white face, in front of it without any explanation whatsoever of what he's playing, why he's playing it, why he's there, any of that, it just feels dumb.
It was weird.
I don't agree. I still remember laughing a little bit, sure, but I don't know. The moment he started playing, I was like, hey, I could see why they picked this guy. He's fucking killing it. Like, and the style of music he was playing is like it was very obvious that it was like a traditional style that he should be playing on that instrument. Sure. I don't know. I didn't think it was like my mind never went to like, why is this funny white guy playing the flute?
That was my very first thought. I'm not going to lie. Like, he shows up and I'm just like, why is this funny white guy playing the flute? It was great. But
if I had $1 for every time I've ever asked myself, why is this funny white guy playing the flute? I would be rich.
What kind of parties do you go to? Instead of the college student that busts out the acoustic guitar, you just have some random white dude busting out a flute and just like, here's some jazz flute time.
You have to remember, Ryan comes from a family of musicians. There was a possibility that at every family party he could have said, why is this funny white guy playing the flute?
He's not wrong. Yeah.
That's funny. That's a blast from the past. That was Hearts and Barrels, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Hearts and Barrels, which still something that I want to do. Still on the back burner. Let's see. There were some other new games that hit Game Pass. Flight Simulator hit Game Pass. The new Flight Simulator game. And
people are fucking loving it.
People are loving it. So many people, like, they're all landing on Epstein's island.
On what island?
Epstein's island?
Epstein's private island.
Oh.
And there was a 230-story building found in Melbourne, Australia in the game.
Yeah. Yep.
And just this monolith. And it apparently is because of a typo in the. I mean, it basically there's this map, open maps data that is kind of like a Wikipedia for architecture and things like that. And there was a typo in the data that they retrieved from that. And so they used that to build it, and that's how you ended up with a 23-story building in the middle of Melbourne, instead of, I think it's supposed to be a 2-story building or something like that.
So it's the
no, it's a 230-story building.
Jesus. So it's the Microsoft Flight Simulator version of Gandhi and
My favorite thing I've still heard from this is I'm sure it was just a Twitter shit post, but the cyberbullying people by flying your airplane into their house.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I would absolutely love doing that. That is the only thing I would use Flight Simulator. I would call my friend and be like, yo, what's your address real quick? And then I'd send him a video of me crashing a plane into their house.
On day 2 of Flight Simulator being out, people were flying a Malaysian Airlines, the missing Malaysian Airlines flight out of the ocean.
Didn't we have somebody do a real-time 14-hour flight like on stream or something recently too?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Those games are super, super boring to me. I don't understand the appeal at all. But I love all of the creative things people are doing with it.
It's great.
Creative shit posts.
I will never buy it and I will never play it, but I love seeing all the things people are creating with something that I thought to be so impossibly mundane that you could never do anything fun with it.
Yeah. It's definitely not my cup of tea. It was my dad's. My dad was a pilot, and he enjoyed that stuff a lot, but never really my thing.
Like the cool shit about it.
Flight sims when I was a kid, because they had crossover into World War II stuff, and I was a big World War II kid. So
nerd.
Yeah.
And the latest Darksiders game is now on Game Pass as well. Darksiders Genesis, which is a lot of fun. It is not in the same style as Darksiders 1, 2, or 3. It is an isometric top-down kind of view. It's kind of like a dungeon crawler. and it's a ton of fun. I've had it on Stadia since it came out, and it's a blast.
Speaking of
Darksiders series, anyway.
You should. It's worth it. I mean, do you? I don't know if it's your style of game. Do you like action RPGs at all?
I do. Action RPGs are fun.
Yeah, you'd probably dig it then.
Absolutely.
I mean, the first one was really heavy in on the hack and slash and not so much of the RPG element. The second one is heavy on the RPG stuff if you're looking for more of an RPG.
Okay.
And I didn't play the third one. Supposedly it was like unfinished and they just released like whatever they had on it. I can't remember how that worked out.
Well, that was THQ. That was THQ, right?
THQ Nordic owned the
Nordic,
property, and then THQ Nordic got dissolved and the properties got sold off. I don't know who ended up with. I think it's still being released under the THQ Nordic moniker, but someone bought the rights to that property. In the first one, you play as War, and the second one, you play as Death. Basically, each one you're playing as a different Horseman of the Apocalypse, and 3 play as Fury.
That's cool.
And Genesis, you play as War, and who's the
Strife?
Strife, yeah.
Is it Strife?
I think so.
Genesis, you play as Phil Collins.
Pestilence.
So there is no Pestilence. I think they took some liberties on that.
Change the mythos.
Yeah.
I felt funny, kind of sad story about THQ. I took some video game design classes in college, and one of my classes, it was a programming class, and our teacher left mid-year because he got a job with THQ Nordic. And then it was like a couple months later that THQ Nordic announced to get dissolved.
This is so sad.
That is sad.
Like the following semester, and I just saw that news. I'm like, oh, this poor dude. I felt so bad for him.
Oh, it was Nordic Games until 2016, and then
it was Nordic
and then became THQ Nordic.
Okay. Well, whichever one got dissolved, that was the one that he went to.
Nordic Games.
Yeah. But yeah, also, you were talking that was on Game Pass. Speaking of free games, apparently for the whole first year of this game's release, I just stumbled onto a Devolver title called Sludge Life. Have you guys ever heard of this one?
I have, yeah. I have it downloaded, but I haven't played it.
It's a lot of fun. It's free on Epic Games. It came out in May, and it's free until next May. It's the anniversary of its release. I don't know what the marketing strategy is there, but the game is just straight up free. Well,
speaking of not knowing the marketing strategy, and I don't mean to derail, we can come back to it, after you've said, what you want about Sludge Life, but fucking Troy, Total War Saga Troy, day 1 free. It was free. This is a full game, and they're for the first day that of its release, it was free on Epic Games.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Sounds like a bunch of PC Master Race talk.
So I don't know what the strategy is there. I really don't. But hey,
probably the same strategy that with. Oh my God, my brain just exploded.
Yes.
Continue, Dad.
So I started thinking about it. I imagine maybe the reason it's free for the first year is because the game has like a very, very strong anti-capitalist message. So maybe they didn't want to charge money for it. I don't fucking know.
Message.
Yeah. It's a super weird, like chill game to play. It's very like dystopian, and you literally live on like this little island surrounded by sludge that the local corporation has polluted. And all you do is like smoke cigarettes. There's literally like a dedicated button for cigarettes. And you tag buildings and talk to weird NPCs and do drugs. I don't even know if there's an end game to it, but it's free. It's worth picking up. It's weird. Super fucking weird.
Devolver
check it out.
Is weird as fuck.
I love Devolver.
Yeah, it screams Devolver title, just the way it looks and everything.
Sure.
It has like, I don't even know. It's very, very slightly art-wise reminds me of like Jet Set just a little bit.
Okay.
And I think it has some of like the same ideas, but obviously it doesn't play like a Jet Set game at all, aside from the fact that you can graffiti stuff.
Sure.
And smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. I think there's also a dedicated fart button. Yeah. It's just all around a weird, gross game. But there's like definitely an anti-corporate message, and there's a mascot named Siggy who you can smoke cigarettes with on your laptop. I think my favorite thing is literally every time you open your menu, you pull up your laptop wherever you're standing, and that's your menu. And every time you're done, you just throw the laptop on the ground, and you can do this infinitely. Every time you pause, you just have a new laptop to throw on the ground.
That's great. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to install it. I mean, as with everything that comes up on Epic, I see it and I grab it, whether I'm gonna play it or not. And maybe one day I'll get curious enough to fucking install it.
And I think it only takes up like a couple hours of your time to finish, so it's the perfect game for you, right?
Yes.
it'll finish before you lose interest.
Yeah.
And move somewhere else.
I didn't get to finish it because my computer lost its battle with cancer on Wednesday and it's dead.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Rip.
Bummer.
That sucks.
I'm waiting for my new mail order son to come in from China, and then I'll be back on the road.
Well, we have come to the end of the episode. So I'm going to ask you boys, what has been the highlight of your week?
Well, I have like a really...
Go ahead, go.
I have a really depressing one.
Okay.
I started reading a book on CPTSD, and it's been very interesting and helpful. Like yesterday was just an emotional roller coaster that just ended with me feeling fantastic today.
Good. Very good. That's always good.
CTPSD? I'm not familiar with the extra letters.
Complex post-traumatic stress.
Oh, okay. I've never heard it described that way. That was confusing. It's just like, what are we talking about?
It's nothing like your normie PTSD. It's complex.
It's for me, an adult.
One of the 4 adults on the Topless Robot podcast.
With a big old asterisk right there.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Grown Up Adult Podcast.
Here's the twist. That includes all of our guests.
All 4 of them.
Damn.
Well, my week sucked because my computer fucking died, but I took the opportunity to buy the new Paper Mario game, and it's really good. I have a couple small complaints, but overall, I've had a really great time with it. Like, I don't think the regular like enemy battles are any fun. Like, you get so much money that I literally just spend 500 coins at the start of every fight to have the game automatically align them, crush them, and move on.
Oh, really? I didn't know that you could do that to have the game automatically align them. I always just like sunk a ton of coins into giving me more time so I could figure it out.
No, when you have the Toads cheer, if you cheer for enough money, I think 500 is when it happens. They automatically spin the enemies to the right alignment.
Oh, I have not yet used that cheer ability at all. Like,
it's worth it.
I like the idea of it, but I just never felt like I needed it. I didn't know that they did that.
It's super useful. They throw healing items at you. They align the enemies for you. They do a bunch of stuff.
Oh, cool.
And because there's no reward or no payoff for doing any of the small enemy fights, really, because money just flows at you and the only thing you get is money, they're pointless.
Yep.
But the boss fights are incredible. So that's one thing that did extremely well with that combat system. Those boss fights are awesome. But the strongest part of that game is definitely the writing.
Yes.
The writing is really, really, really good. I was surprised. And there's a lot of like little nods to other Mario games from the RPG series and everything. So it's a good game.
Not playable yet?
No, Gino will never return. Live that heartbreak alongside me forever.
Best character, Bobby.
I have handguns.
Bobby. Yeah. No spoilers, but Bobby was the best character.
Yep.
And
Bobby
the soundtrack is really, really good too. Like every single, that is a game you play with headphones on, or unless you have a really good sound system. There are a lot of layers to every song on that, and it's worth listening for sure.
Yeah.
So many different styles. You got like there's metal songs on that album. Like in that game, there's metal songs like for boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of really jazzy stuff. It's all over the place. Buy that game. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I still have yet to dive back in since that bullshit Boo fight where I was like, you snuck this up on me? Get fucked. But now that I know that I can just like cheer or have the toads cheer to the point of, putting them in the right position, I'll just go back and do that. Fuck that bullshit.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, that's the one complaint I have really. Just hold down Y and skip all the regular fights and get to the boss fights. There you go. Good game.
Yeah. It is still fun. The fights, as interesting as they are and like the way they're presented with the puzzle mechanic and things like that, the boss fights are definitely infinitely more interesting in that regard. But man, the story's just fun and it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's got great comedic timing. All of the dumb little things they do are so funny.
Yep.
Yeah. Say it again. Buy it.
Yep. Tyler.
Well, I finally joined the 4K realm this month or this week. I got a new TV.
Nice.
So,
what'd you get?
I got a Sony OLED, a 65-inch Sony OLED.
Nice.
I got it for like a stupid cheap deal. Like the same TV is normally like twice as expensive if you buy it from Sony directly. So I was like, yeah.
Is there like a big scratch in the middle of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually only half a TV. That's why it was half off.
Well, also, never buy consumer electronics directly from the manufacturer. Ever. The MSRP is always going to be stupidly higher than you'll end up buying these big consumer electronics from box stores for.
Very true.
You buy them like me out of the back of a truck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I say box store? I mean box truck.
But yeah,
Big box truck.
pretty much all week I've been like just looking for 4K things to watch, and I watched Into the Spider-Verse and was just like, oh my god,
So pretty on
pretty.
4K, yeah.
So fucking pretty.
Especially on OLED with the contrast on OLEDs, or the dynamic range on the OLEDs, where because the big difference being that on a per pixel level they can be on or off entirely. So your blacks are real black and your whites are real white, and
Exactly.
it's so fucking pretty.
Fucking gorgeous. And 4K titles seem to have been taking better advantage of my sound system that I have in my house. So like a lot more 5.1 and Dolby stuff that like actually uses my extra speakers that I have.
Yeah.
So I'm just like I was like at home and Kayla's wasn't in the house, so I was just watching. I don't even remember what I watched.
Adult videos.
It was a 4K sci-fi movie, and I don't remember what I was watching. And I turned up. I was drinking liquor and just sitting in, just like kind of like turned up the volume like all the way, and just was watching this movie in the dark. Like, oh my god, this is the future. It was a very fun moment.
Do keep in mind, and it's a good thing, for everyone to remember when watching 4K content. If you're looking for quality picture, you'll certainly get it when streaming 4K content, but it will look worlds better on a 4K UHD Blu-ray. When you're actually watching it on tangible media, that's something that streaming has not yet caught up to, being able to give us that full, nice, uncompressed data stream for that high quality video.
My issue is I have nothing that can play 4K.
You have a PS4.
Yeah, but I don't.
You don't have a Pro.
I don't have a Pro. Yeah. And I figure it's kind of too late to buy a Pro at this point. Might as well just wait for the PS5.
Nah, just buy a Pro so you can watch Blu-rays, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm good. Gonna wait for the PS5. And I'll really be able to take advantage of my newly expensive technology with more expensive technology.
No kidding.
Because that's what I started doing to make myself feel better. Just
considering next generation is setting a standard of 4K 60 baseline, with ray tracing and the works, it's really this generation we're actually going to see consoles catch up to the capabilities of fairly solid, not bleeding edge, but very solid PC gaming rig.
Yeah,
very true.
That's sick.
For the first time since the 90s.
Which is crazy. Yeah, that was my week. How about you, Ryan?
Again, I got to go to the mental health thing. I had a follow-up appointment with my psychiatrist on Monday because I've been on Zoloft for a month. And the side effects have been not great. I've, had trouble getting to sleep, lots of diarrhea and been shaky. And especially like the last couple of weeks, I was actually physically uncomfortable. Like my arms felt weak. Like I was physically exhausted. So like my arms felt like noodles, felt like I was always wearing like a lead blanket. It was difficult to get up and move around in any regard and move anywhere. And it sucked. So I had to follow up with my psychiatrist, and she was like, yeah, it sounds like the benefits the side effects are outweighing the benefits for you. So let's switch you to a different medication. So I tapered off of Zoloft at the same time that I started tapering on to Lexapro. So now I'm taking Lexapro. And so far it's been fine. Like it's gonna, I'm sure, take a while to kind of ramp up. But I feel significantly better than I have for the past few weeks. And she's like, if the side effects get that bad, fucking tell me. She's like, message me. Don't wait for our follow-up appointment. So I've got a follow-up in a month. And if things get bad on Lexapro, then I will just message her and be like, this isn't working.
Oh, yeah.
But like the whole time on Zoloft, I'm like, I was like, everyone tells me that it eventually gets better. You eventually get past the side effects. So I'm just going to wait it out and figure it and see what happens. And it, yeah.
Death, mild discomfort, skin irritation, and chronic death.
Yes.
Glad you're feeling better, dude. Seriously, that's...
Yeah. So yesterday was yesterday or Friday? Yesterday was my first day Lexapro only. So I'm fully tapered off of Zoloft. And so I'm on half pills of Lexapro until Monday or tomorrow. And then I'm on a full dose. So... and I started using an app that is free with Play Pass on Android called Dailyo, which is basically I get a notification, every night at 8:00, and it asks me to basically rate my day. Like, how was your mood today? And it gives me a scale, and so I can track my mood, and it has me put the activities that I did that day, how well I slept, things like that. So I can keep track of if it goes up, if things level, shit like that. And it allows you to add custom tags. So I have added tags for the medication I'm taking and the amount of that medication that I'm taking for each day. So I can be like 5 milligrams Lexapro, and shit like that. So
sounds all like my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of forms of, yes, you got his medication today, and this is the time that you got his medication today, and okay, I've signed the book again.
But yeah, I'm hoping it will give me a measured or more observable idea of whether things are working for me or not. Because I feel like this is going to be a lot like being sick, right? So when you're deep in a sickness, you forget how it feels to be well. Like, you forget the last time you were well, like it all kind of blends together. At least it does for me. And then just one day you're better again. And, so it's hard to think back on, well, how did I feel last Thursday? Is there a measurable difference between how I felt last Thursday and how I feel today? I don't know. So
it's like kind of like the same thing where it's like you don't realize how tall you're getting because you're just living through it, and it's a gradual change, not a
right.
Not like someone else sees you and they're like, "Oh man, you're a lot different." You're like, "I don't feel different," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which one of us is the tallest, by the way?
I think me or Dan.
I'm solidly average.
I doubt it's me.
I'm 6 foot.
Yeah, I'm like 5'11".
So Ryan's the tallest. We must kill him.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Brooks is taller than me.
Is he?
He is. Yeah, he is.
Okay. Huh.
I'm 5'10".
I am not a tall man, Ryan.
I guess you could say that Dan is short-tempered.
On that note, thank you everyone for watching.
We have to end it with that.
And/or listening. We'll see you next week.
Hey everybody! Once again, I started talking at length about Hamilton, so Dan decided he was going to put me in the shame box. If you want to see all of our fun talks about musicals and everything like that, probably don't watch. But, still subscribe.
This is what you get when you sing.